Hello everyone, welcome to Financial Success. Today the stocks I'm going to be talking about are clean energy plays, and this is because Biden had his news conference today and he did mention infrastructure, and so the stocks I'm talking about were up quite a bit today, and I think they're going to continue to be up into next week because Biden is going to be talking about the infrastructure plan next week in Pittsburgh. And so as always, I'm not a financial advisor, so please do your own research. Also, if you would like to join Patreon, there is a link below. This will provide access to a Discord chat where I will be mentioning my buys and sells along with any information that I find throughout the day on these stocks that I would like to share. And so if you also are interested in trading cryptocurrencies, the platform that I use is Binance. It has a lot of the smaller altcoins on it, and so I do have a lot of money in this as well, since I am kind of using this as a hedge. If the market does drop down, I can see cryptocurrencies or some of these smaller altcoins do well in the future. And so if you're interested in that, please check that out as well. And so I'd like to take a look at this article here stating that Biden's recovery plan bets big on clean energy. They are working on passing a bill worth $3 to $4 trillion to provide change for the infrastructure and clean energy going forward. And so they are focusing on rebuilding America's creaky infrastructure with record spending to fight climate change. And so, like I stated, they are planning to invest between $3 and $4 trillion in spending and tax credits on a wide range of efforts meant to bolster the economy. The money is currently planned to split between two packages. However, they are going to start with the infrastructure bill that is rooted in an effort to halt the emissions of planet-warming carbon dioxide. But as currently constructed, accelerating a clean energy transformation underpins nearly every part of the plan. People familiar with it said it includes building electric power lines that can deliver more renewable energy, building electric vehicle charging stations, capping oil and gas wells to reduce emissions, and reclaiming abandoned coal mines. So they are focusing on a lot of the different areas. I know EVs is a hot sector in the past few months, and so they're focusing on the charging stations for that. They're also focusing on renewable energy. And so I think if this bill passes, these stocks that I'm going to be talking about are going to get a lot of attention. And so as I stated, they're going to be talking about this as well next week in Pittsburgh. And so he's going to be unveiling the multi-trillion-dollar infrastructure plan. And so according to this article, they are going to be talking about that on March 31st in Pittsburgh. So next week, Wednesday. And so I think leading up to that, we're going to see these stocks continue to go up. And then if he provides good news for this as well, then these stocks are going to continue to go up as well. So the first stock that I'm going to be looking at is STPK Energy Transition. This is a SPAC, and so they are acquiring a company called STEM Energy, and so the ticker symbol on this is STPK, and I am looking at the 1-year chart here. And so as you can see, it went up to $50 back in February, and since then it has dropped substantially. And so especially since the market's been pretty red over the past couple of weeks, now it's starting to come back a little bit. However, it is very volatile, so be very cautious with any of these plays. So as you can see, this was up 15% today, and like I said, I believe that's because Biden was talking. He did mention the infrastructure very briefly, and so I'd like to dig into this a little bit further. And so STEM Energy, like I said, it's a clean energy play, and so they are a market leader in the clean energy ecosystem. And so they focus on many different areas. They're focusing on the renewables, energy storage technology, supply chain and logistics, EV infrastructure, and electric vehicles. So focusing on clean energy for that, and then transportation technology and food technology as well. And so in many different areas. And so they do realize the issue with climate change, that it is a problem. And right now, 27% of the electricity production is the number 2 polluter, responsible for 27% of the greenhouse gas emissions. And so they are working on this as well. This is exactly what Joe Biden wants to see. And so I think if he passes this, these companies are going to get a lot of money to continue to improve climate change through clean energy. And so they are stating here that a revolutionized grid with STEM is the solution. And so STEM is the first pure-play smart energy storage company to go public in the US. There is a huge addressable market for this with strong macro tailwinds. There is a $1.2 trillion in new revenue opportunities for this electric storage expected to be deployed by 2050. And then there is also the battery storage capacity expected to increase by 25 times by 2030. And so a lot of automotive companies are starting to push electric vehicles. They are starting to end the sale of gas vehicles, and they're starting to just sell electric vehicles. And so this by itself is going to force people into buying electric vehicles. And so a lot of those are focusing to have those out by 2040 or sooner. And so then 100% of the vehicles that they sell will be electric. And so I think that's where they're getting this number from. By 2030, they're expecting an increase by 25 times. And so this company has a very good balance sheet. They have $525 million to target and fund high growth markets. And then they also have a good projected revenue growth of 51% from 2021 to 2026. And so this company, I think, has a lot of potential going forward, especially since Biden is focusing on clean energy. And so the next stock that I'd like to talk about is MP Materials. The ticker symbol on this is MP. And so this is a very similar chart to STPK. As you can see, it hit $50 as well at the beginning of the month. And then since then, it has dropped substantially. And so I think this is just because the market has been red over the last couple of weeks. They also announced a public offering a couple of days ago. And so that sent it down substantially as well. And so this stock was trading down to $33 today, and then it did rise up 8%, and so it is sitting at $36. I still think there's a lot of potential for this company, and I still think this is a buy. So I'd like to take a look at what MP Materials does. They are a rare earth elements mining company out of Las Vegas, and so they are US based, and so I think that's very good. You can see here they mine many different elements. They do not just focus on one thing there, but they do have a broad spectrum of what they power. And so they do focus on the automotive field. They are also focusing on clean energy, the military, and then also digital technologies. And so you can see the different elements that are all integrated into a cell phone based on whether it's the screen or the speakers. And so a lot of these are needed, and nowadays we're becoming so technologically dependent that these materials are going to continue to be needed, especially as cars become to be smarter and cell phones. And so I think we're just going to see an increased need for these elements going forward. And so a lot of these elements that they mine are very important going forward and easily forgotten about. And so a lot of this is kind of a pick and shovel play on the clean energy stuff, as they need these elements to produce clean energy or electric vehicles going forward. And so right now the US is currently reliant on China for about 80% of its supply of rare earth elements. And so the country's near global monopoly on the supply of rare elements is both a threat and an opportunity. And so I think there's a lot of potential for both of these stocks. They have dropped substantially. They are both down about 40 to 50% since their all-time highs just a couple of weeks ago. And I think this is due to the market dropping substantially over the last couple of weeks. However, with Joe Biden talking about the infrastructure plan next week, I think there's going to be a lot of potential and growth for these companies going forward. And so there may not be gains right away just because the market is so volatile. However, long term, I see a lot of potential for these stocks. And so if you're interested in them, please check them out. And I appreciate you watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and subscribe if you have not done that. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.